Here I am with Rich Little. Rich, you work with Bing, and I see that your TV show has just been released as a box set, and you had Bing on as a guest. Any particular memories of that show?
How I got him on the show?
Yeah.
I was in Hollywood watching Bing record one of his last albums, and we all had lunch together in a little private room, and Bing was sitting there at the end of the table, and I was at the other end of the table, and Ken Barnes was there, my friend Gord Atkinson, Pete Moore, a few other people, and I said, gee, I'd like to get Bing Crosby on my TV show, but I just don't know how to go about it. And somebody said, well, why don't you ask him? And Bing looked up and said, yeah, why don't you ask him? I said, all right, I'm asking him. I'm accepting. When do you want me to do it? Do you want me to do it now? I said, no, Bing. I mean, a couple of weeks, whatever you want. Whatever you want, I'm available. And it was so easy to get him on the show. And then I went to some people at NBC and said, Bing Crosby said he'd do my TV show, thinking they'd be just excited. And they said, when? I said, 2 weeks from now. They said, oh no, we've got Starsky and Hutch on that week. I said, so bump them. Well, what's Bing Crosby done? I said, do you want me to back up a truck? What has he done? He's the greatest entertainer of the 20th century. That's what he's done. So I got him on the show, and of course he was fabulous. And we did a medley together. I was a bit nervous. I was a lot nervous, as a matter of fact. And Bing was very patient. I ruined take after take. I was so nervous. And then at the end of the medley we did, Bing did Carol Channing, which I dubbed as Carol Channing. And Bing said to me a couple of years later, he said, I'm sorry I did that Carol Channing thing. That was awful. And I said, no, it was great. He said, no, Rich. Everywhere I went from then on, people said, do your Carol Channing for me. I don't do Carol Channing, you do. I said, they do? They request it? Oh, they think I did that. You know? Because it does look pretty good, I must admit.
Yeah.
But it was a great thrill to have him on the show. And apart from being nervous, he was very cooperative and very, very sweet, very nice. I remember my brother came down from Canada to visit me and came to the taping where Bing was the guest. We're sitting in the green room, and he was talking about going to Knott's Berry Farm, my brother. But he didn't know how to go there or how much it cost. And Bing overheard us and phoned up and got all the information, drew a map, told him all the prices, where to park his car. Bing did all that on his own. I couldn't believe it. He'd take the time to do that. Had this map, which my brother kept, and it just shows you what kind of a guy he was.
Because around that time you appeared at the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion with Bing. It was his 50th anniversary in show business. Very big show. It must have been quite an ordeal for you to appear in that.
Yeah, it was. To be asked to be on that show with Bing and Rosemary Clooney was quite a thrill for me. And I don't think we did anything much together. I did my spot, and of course Bing and Rosie sang together, and I think it was the same show without me that he did later in London.
Did you do Gone Fishing with him by any chance? Because later on the comedian did it Gone Fishing with him.
Gone Fishing, yeah. Gone fishing, there's a sign upon my door. Gone fishing, I ain't working anymore. Yeah, Louis and Bing.
Yeah.
What a combination.
Yes, yeah. Also, you had quite a lot to do with Frank Sinatra around that time.
Yeah.
Didn't you tell me a story once about Frank Sinatra getting excited about knocking something over or something?
Yeah, I remember that weekend. I was a guest down at the compound in Palm Springs, and that was the weekend Gord Atkinson came by, and we talked about doing that benefit in Ottawa for the Civic Hospital, the hospital I was born in, and Frank and I, well, mostly Frank, raised $1 million for the Rich Little Neonatal Center.
Wow.
And we talked about a date, and Frank said he was free, and then he said, I got to remember the date though. Let me write it down in my Miss Piggy calendar. Frank got out his Miss Piggy calendar and wrote in Rich Little, Ottawa, the date, and he showed up. Boy, I'll tell you, when his plane hadn't landed an hour before the show, we got a little nervous.
I bet you did.
Yeah.
I bet you did.
But that was the weekend that Gord came by, and we set the date for the benefit. And I remember in Frank's den one afternoon, and one of his waiters or butlers knocked over a table, and Frank yelled, "Oh my Lord, what fell?" And somebody said, "Just a pipe," and Frank had a fit. A pipe! Oh no! Don't tell me it's broken. Don't tell me it's broken. Please, please. They said, "No, it's not broken." I said, "Is family heirloom? What's the pipe?" Bing Crosby gave me that pipe 20 years ago.
Wow.
And he was terrified it was broken because he was a big fan.
Yeah.
Frank was a big fan of Bing's, and Bing was a great fan of Frank's too.
Yeah.
And I remember Bing one day said to me, "One of the things, of course, I liked about Frank, is he didn't imitate me, had his own style and his own personality, And there was a great admiration between the two.
Yeah. Another time you appeared with Bing was on the Merv Griffin show here in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Any memories of that?
One of the few times Bing performed in Las Vegas. Of course, it was the Merv Griffin show.
Yeah.
And I think I did an impression of Bing in front of him, talking about orange juice or something.
Yeah.
And he got a big kick out of it. The audience was just overwhelmed that he was on the show.
Yeah.
And he was in top form that day, I'll tell you.
Yeah. Well, thanks ever so much, Rich. I'd like to show this at our annual meeting in Leeds later in the year. I know that members there will be delighted to see it. And of course, I'll naturally play that medley from your show on that occasion as well.
Well, you'll see my lips move occasionally because I was so nervous reading the cue cards. And you don't see, when you see the final version of that, how many times I blew it and we had to start over.
Yeah.
But Bing had a lot of patience because I was not a singer. And I was so nervous that you don't even see me shaking. But what a thrill. One of the great thrills of my life was working with him at that time, and how nice he was.
Yeah. Well, thanks again, Rich. Thanks very much for your time.
Okay, thank you, Malcolm.
Thank you.